Namaste Bharat. Wish you all a very happy Independence Day. The date today is also the birth anniversary of a great revolutionary yogi, spiritual thinker, and philosopher of India, Sri Aurobindo. Today, when we have almost forgot the true meaning of our nation, we must know what is our nation, what exactly our mother country is in its core essence. In a letter to his wife Srimati Mrinalini Devi, Sri Aurobindo tried to explain this. To answer for what is a nation, what is our mother country, he says, it is not a piece of earth, nor a figure of speech, nor a fiction of the mind. It is a mighty Shakti composed of the Shaktis of all the millions of units that make up the nation, just as Bhavani Mahishmardini sprang into being from the Shakti of all the millions of gods assembled in one mass of force and welded into unity. The Shakti we call India, Bhavani Bharati, is the living unity of the Shaktis of 300 million people, but she is inactive, imprisoned in the magic circle of tamas, the self indulgent inertia and ignorance of her sons. We have to acquire strength where it did not exist before. We have to change our natures and become new men with new hearts to be born again. We need a nucleus of men in whom the Shakti is developed to its uttermost extent, in whom it fills every corner of the personality and overflows to fertilize the earth. These, having the fire of Bhavani in their hearts and brains, will go forth and carry the flame to every nook and cranny of our land. India, the ancient mother, is indeed striving to be reborn, striving with agony and tears, but she strives in vain. What ails her? She who is after all so vast and might be so strong. There is surely some enormous defect, something vital is wanting in us, nor is it difficult to lay our finger on the spot. We have all things else, but we are empty of strength, void of energy. We have abandoned Shakti and are therefore abandoned by the Shakti. The mother is not in our hearts, in our brains, in our arms. The wish to be reborn we have in abundance, there is no deficiency there. How many attempts have been made, how many movements have been begun in religion, in society, in politics. But the same fate has overtaken or is preparing to overtake them all. They flourish for a moment, then the impulse wanes, the fire dies out, and if they endure, it is only as empty shells, forms from which the Brahma has gone, or in which it lies overpowered with tamas and inert. Our beginnings are mighty, but they have neither sequel nor fruit. Now we are beginning in another direction. We have started a great industrial movement which is to enrich and regenerate an impoverished land. Untaught by experience, we do not perceive that this movement must go the way of all the others unless we first seek the one essential thing, unless we acquire strength. Is it knowledge that is wanting? We Indians born and bred in a country where Gyan, knowledge, has been stored and accumulated since the race began. We are about in us the inherited gains of many thousands of years. But it is a dead knowledge, a burden under which we are bowed, a poison which is corroding us, rather than as it should be a staff to support our feet and a weapon in our hands. For this is the nature of all great things, that when they are not used or are ill used, they turn upon the wearer and destroy him. Is it love, enthusiasm, bhakti that is wanting? These are ingrained in the very Indian nature, but in the absence of Shakti, we cannot concentrate, we cannot direct, we cannot even preserve it. Bhakti is the leaping flame, and Shakti is the fuel. If the fuel is scanty, how long can the fire endure? The deeper we look, the more we shall be convinced that the one thing wanting, which we must strive to acquire before all others, is strength. Strength physical, strength mental, strength moral, but above all strength spiritual, which is the one inexhaustible and imperishable source of all the others. If we have strength, everything else will be added to us easily and naturally. In the absence of strength, we are like men in a dream who have hands but cannot seize or strike, who have feet but cannot run. If India is to survive, she must be made young again. Rushing and billowing streams of energy must be poured into her. Her soul must become as it was in the old times, like the surges, vast, puissant, calm, or turbulent at will, an ocean of action or of force. Many of us, utterly overcome by tamas, the dark and heavy demon of inertia, are saying nowadays that it is impossible, that India is decayed, bloodless, and lifeless, too weak ever to recover, that our race is doomed to extinction. It is a foolish and idle saying. No man or nation need be weak unless he chooses. No man or nation need perish unless he deliberately chooses extinction. So this was the message from Sri Aurobindo on our motherland, on the topic of motherland, a nation which is very significant and explicable until now. Jai Hind.